As a chemistry teacher and a pastor and a mother, there are few issues that connect all my roles as much as perfluoro or polyfluoroalkyl substances, which is what PFAS stands for. So as Maddie has just been describing, there are about 4,700 substances that fall into this category, and they're manufactured for a variety of reasons. As a chemistry teacher, I can marvel at the ingenuity that people have had in developing ways to use these substances to solve problems and design solutions. And as a teacher, I also recognize the need to teach young people that using Earth's resources is not the same thing as exploiting them and leaving a mess for those who come after us. As a pastor, I recognize both the gifts that have been given to us through creation and also the responsibility that we have as stewards of it. And as a mother, I want nothing more than to leave my daughter a world where her creativity and ingenuity is valued, and also a world where the water is safe to drink and the soil is safe for growing food. PFAS chemicals are compounds that people made and designed into applications, all the kinds of things that Maddie has been talking about: waterproof raincoats and umbrellas and firefighting foams and nonstick coatings for cookware. And the problem is that they stick around forever, and they don't stay where we've designed them to be. The compounds are pervasive and persistent. They don't break down. And eventually, once they're made, they find their way into water and soil. The production of these compounds has introduced trace amounts into almost every living organism on the planet. Almost every waterway and stream now carries, along with life-giving water, enough of these compounds to cause harm. And Maddie's already talked a lot about the kinds of harm that can be caused. So we need to advocate for three things. One, stricter regulation on their production and disposal. Two, that organizations and companies and governments will continue to design replacements for PFAS whenever possible. And three, for collaboration in the remediation of the already contaminated water and soil. So there is no developed country in which water is free of PFAS, and there are no humans in developed countries whose blood is free of PFAS. This is a group of compounds that doesn't degrade and that accumulates in living organisms. It's already affected the lives of many people. And of course, as with most environmental crises, the people who are most affected are the people who are most marginalized. As people of faith, we know that our call to justice is true, and we respond when we see those who are least able to afford to choose alternatives being most affected. For those of us who are from Abrahamic traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, we may have heard the call of the prophet Amos before. He said, "Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream." We know that we have work to do. Justice is not being served when we look the other way and let PFAS compounds be discharged into our waters. Justice does not roll down like water when we look the other way and chemical companies discharge PFAS and precursors that make PFAS downstream into aquifers and surface waters. Justice and righteousness are not what flows like an ever-flowing stream when we make uninformed choices and unknowingly increase the demand for products that contain PFAS. So as people of faith, we know our call to justice and righteousness. As people of faith, we respond when we hear that call. As people of faith who are called and ready to respond, I think we're ready to take the necessary steps to reduce the harm that's already been caused and to prevent further harm. And so may justice roll down like waters again through the rivers and the currents, and may righteousness flow again like a stream across this land. And of course, may our children and grandchildren know that we stood up when we had the chance, that we made a difference, so that the waters of justice and righteousness, as well as the waters of planet Earth, can flow again once more without so much fear of unseen and unknown toxins.